one simple step to help you break any bad habits as well as negative thought patterns. So before I start the topic off, Pranam, Namaste. My name is Garret. My mission as a life coach is to help people realize their infinite potential by tapping into spirituality, the law of attraction, and feng shui. I'm very blessed to be trained under a Himalayan yogi who's taught me the ways of the yogic teachings as well as spirituality, which is the whole umbrella of life. So before I start the topic off, please make sure you guys remember to hit like, subscribe, and comment your learnings in the comment section below. And it's also nice to know where you guys are tuning in from, so we could actually connect within this space. I'm dedicated to make 4 videos a week to spread more light and positivity out there to the world. So yeah, please keep continuing to stay tuned and support. Okay? So without further ado, let's head into the topic. So in order to break a bad habit or a negative thought pattern, we must first bring to our awareness. So that's the very first thing, right? Bringing the awareness into our vision, a peripheral. Okay? Then we must then understand and actually create a reverse thought pattern or create the opposite of that thought. So that is the direct solution to this whole entire video. So whoever wants to tune off can tune off already. So you already know the answer. Okay? And those who wants to stay on, but before you tune off, please remember to hit like, subscribe, and comment your learnings in the comment section. Okay? Yeah. And those who want to stay on would continue to stay on. Okay? Please. So think of it this way. When you are actually eating at the beach, okay, just imagine yourself eating at the beach. Okay, you may be chewing a bowl of fruit, or you may be chewing, I don't know, like fish and chips or something, whatever that you eat at the beach. Okay, I don't usually eat at the beach, so I don't know what's the food to eat at the beach. Okay, so if you're chewing, suddenly you chew onto a piece of stone, okay, or perhaps sand, a large piece of sand. So when you chew on that, you most likely might want to spit it out, right? Because of the sensations, and the mind would instantly protect yourself. The mind will go into protection mode. So the moment you feel this sense of chewing on stone, something hard, you will most likely spit it out instantly. You most likely wouldn't even swallow it because you will find that it's disgusting, right? So it's so gross that you most likely will spit it out. So same thing, if we are so mindful of whatever stuff that we put into our bodies in the physical nature, right? What more about having all those thoughts that we put into this thing? See? So the moment if we are not mindful and we are not careful of it, right, then it actually becomes a process that will make us careless. You see? So we must first be very aware and mindful of this. Okay, so things like if we harbor hatred, okay, we harbor envy, we harbor resentment, or we even harbor fear. Okay, all these are what we call unwholesome thoughts. Okay, and unwholesome thoughts are basically things that do not make you feel good. Okay, and you might have to be aware of it first in order for you to then practice a reverse thought. Okay, so the thought of neutralizing the negative thought, that's the basic understanding of it. Okay, and I give you an example. Say for instance you have a thought of pride. Okay, and in order to not let the thought of pride grow and go inside of you, and the moment when it goes inside of you, you will dirty your mind and you will dirty your body. Okay, you'll dirty your moral values. Okay, so pride itself, you have to think of the opposite thought, which is humbleness. Okay, so it's all about thinking the reverse of that item or that thought that has surfaced in your mind. Okay, then we think about habits. Okay, so same thing, when a thought and a habit is pretty much similar stuff. Okay, so same for the habits. When you're thinking of habits, how are you supposed to break it? Okay, you can actually neutralize it by thinking of a reverse habit. Then you will actually break that cycle as well. Okay, so take for instance, if we are trying to break habits, right, most likely the habits is something that has an extremely strong force. It has actually root over you. That's why it's called a habit, right? It's been reoccurring instantly. So take for instance, if you are trying to cut sugar, Okay, you've been a sweet tooth for a while right now. So the moment you go outside and you pass by a bakery and you see all the donuts there, or you walk by Krispy Kreme, or you see something that is very sugary, and suddenly your sensations, your throat, your tongue starts to sweat saliva. You see things like that. It will trigger you in the most aspects of your five senses, like your sense of sight, your sense of taste, your sense of smell, your sense of touch will start to come at play. Even certain people might even have the sense of hearing, or you can hear the oven opening, or people shouting, oh, there's a discount for buy one get one free. Okay, all these are the sensations to trigger you to go into your bad habits again. So these things must have been ruling you for a while, and it has a certain force in it, okay, to actually be called a habit. So having these habits is actually extremely strong, and that it can actually have its own force over you, you know. And it actually requires tremendous force for you to break this cycle, basically. Okay, so take for instance, liken this, okay, when we are taking a plane. So in this current context, due to COVID, everyone is not flying, so everyone may not have this good imagination so far, but I think most likely may have experienced taking a flight before, right? So whenever a plane flies off, okay, taking a plane, when the plane starts to take off, in just a few seconds, okay, it requires the most maximum fuel just for it to take off. And the reason being for that few seconds to take off, right, and flying off, is because the plane itself requires tremendous energy and fuel to actually accelerate in order to speed up. That's the first thing. Then for it to take on gravitational force, that's where it can actually take off and fly high, right? So that's the reason. Same thing when you envision it to habits. Okay, habits itself holds tremendous force. So in order for you to take on this tremendous force over you, you have to come up with even more force to take on it, right? So similarly, if we have this force of habits within ourselves, okay, all this you will start to realize that, be aware first, be very mindful that all these habits is actually material habits. Okay, so material habits are most likely due to repeated thinking, okay, and it has actually created into the channels of our minds, okay, the different channels in our mind. All this repeated thinking of habits, okay, sometimes you don't even need to think really. When it becomes a serious habit, then you no longer need to think anymore. You see, it will just make you want to go for it. Okay, so because of that, we have lived in the world of distractions and illusions. So basically, in the spiritual world, we call it Maya. Okay, and this is causing us in this current context, in the ages, that we are even more attracted to all these material habits and having us go into what's unproductive habits. Okay, so with this understanding, take for instance like negative thinking, blaming, procrastination. All these are due to the effects of the material habits. Okay, and travels of the material mind is actually quite numerous, you know. We have to be very careful, and we have to actually watch them. If not, they will continually grow, and it will change form and shift, and it's gonna dirty you internally, inside out. So it's not gonna be very productive for you. So how to watch for them? Okay, so the thought that is beneficial, that actually gives you a bliss from inside, is basically what we call them having the sensations, having the feeling of the thought. So that thought will actually be the uplifting the type of thought, you know. So take for instance, when you think of a kind thought, okay, so a thought of austerity, a thought of sacrifice, a thought of renunciation, a thought of selflessness, and a thought of service. So basically all these feelings that you get from these thoughts, and you will know that this thought is actually a good or bad thought. It makes you feel uplifted when the moment you feel if I'm being selfless and I actually sacrifice myself for others, it's a good cause. So you donate money, you lose a little bit of money, but you're actually donating it for a good cause. You feel good internally. Okay, that is the feeling of the thought. So if the feeling of the thought makes you feel good, that means it is a wholesome thought, which is a good thought. Okay. However, whenever we think of the negative thought, okay, so what is a negative thought? So basically it's the opposite then. So it is the negative thought that will create a bad feeling within you. So whether it is a gross idea of hurting someone, or actually defaming somebody, or we talk bad about that person, or it can even be as subtle, very very subtle, as just having a thought of selfishness. You see, so this is already creating a different kind of feeling within you. You will be, if you are mindful of it and you are really aware of it, you will realize that it's actually causing a lot of negativity within you if you don't realize it. Okay, so you must first understand by thought. Okay, notice all these thoughts surfacing, because the mind will always constantly have so many thoughts all at one go. Okay, so be very mindful just by thought. Okay, and checking out and be very careful. Okay, then you start breaking the harmful thoughts and habits with the beneficial thoughts and habits. Okay, so you create a reverse thought and habit for tackling on all this. Okay, so say, give you a simple story. Okay, so this saint was actually traveling towards a village. Okay, and he was passing by this flower shop. Suddenly rain and downpour really heavily, and also coming back from another directions, a bunch of fishermen, okay, fisherwoman, okay, they brought baskets of fish with them, and it started to rain. So she asked whether this bunch of ladies asked whether this flower shop could actually let them hold shelter for the night. Okay, and same thing for the saint. So the saint also asked whether the flower shop could actually house him for the night. So the flower shop was so nice. Okay, and the person said that, okay, the ladies, since you guys are you ladies can actually carrying all your basket, you leave your basket outside and come into the house, and you could actually sleep inside. Okay, and the same for you, you just sleep outside, and basically sleeping with the bag of fish. Okay, then the nice thing is that over the night, the flowers smells, or the scents of the flowers, right, is causing the bunch of ladies inside can't sleep because of the fragrance of the rose, the jasmine and all. However, and on the outside, the saint can't sleep also because it was the smell of the fish from the bag. Okay, and he's causing them not to sleep. So both of them struggled to sleep. This is beyond my capacity, I can't hold this anymore. So they stood up and they went out both at the same time. Okay, so the saint and the fisherwoman actually swapped positions, and they both slept well at night. So moral of the story is that we are so habitualized, and because this bunch of fisherwomen, right, they are so habitualized by the smell of fish that whenever they smell flowers and scented flowers, right, they can't even sleep. And same for the saint. The saint was not even habitualized by that scent of the fish. So what meant good for that person may not meant exactly good for him. You see, so that is the moral of the story. Okay, so in order to remember, in order to practice the reverse of negative thoughts, is to cut the negative thought pattern, and then practice thinking good of others, giving them a benefit of a doubt. Well, it's not a big deal, right? So think of the good all the time and practice thoughts of kindness, and these are what we call the wholesome thoughts. Okay, so I hope you learned something from this video, and if you do, please make sure to hit like, subscribe and comment your learnings in the comment section. With that, I end off this video. Pranam, Namaste.